guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. Well, I'm back with another Genie Plus video, but this video is a little bit different, guys. This is more of a Genie Plus individual lightning lane and a virtual queue, a breakdown video. Basically, it's oh my gosh, Nina, it is 7 a.m. What do I do? What do I get first? Help, 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 because you're in panic mode, right? Because if you guys haven't noticed, all these things kind of happen at 7 a.m. So if you're looking for an explanation video or more the ins and outs, check out my other Genie Plus video, as this one is just more or less what you need to do when 7 a.m. hits. Are you guys ready? So first, bear with me because I'm going to start with a few descriptions of what these things are, right? And then you will get my step-by-step plan or guide for these things when it's 7 a.m. Because like I said, they all happen at the same time and it can get kind of panicky because it's like 6:59 and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. First, like I said, Genie Plus. Genie Plus is not something that can be easily explained in a few seconds. I have so many Genie Plus videos out there. I have full-on explanation videos. I have update videos. I have how to do videos. I have reviews, explanations. Oh my goodness. If you need more info on Genie Plus, please check out those videos. But like I said, to start with the description, right, before we move forward, you kind of need to know what these things are, right? Yeah. So first thing, Genie Plus. You probably want to know, okay, well, how do I purchase Genie Plus? First of all, Genie Plus can only be purchased between midnight and 7 a.m. Of course, you can purchase it throughout the day, but the goal here is midnight to 7 a.m. each and every park day that you want Genie Plus. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot purchase Genie Plus in advance. You cannot add it to your package. You cannot purchase it for several days in a row. It is each and every park day per person, okay? It's not a family package. It is a per person situation. So, okay, Nina, why? Why do I want this thing called a Genie Plus? Well, if you haven't seen my other videos, you will know that Genie Plus is the only way to skip the line for the ride. So if you're worried about peak season, if you've got little kiddos, if it's hot outside, Genie Plus just might be the thing for you. The thing to note here is Genie Plus works on most of the rides. It's not all of the rides, but it's most of them. Next thing up is, okay, sounds good, but what is the cost? Yep, this is the kicker here, guys. The price is determined each and every day. So the price does change. It is not the same price every single day, every single season. In fact, it is date-based, crowd-based, season-based, perk whatever based, and it's now park-based. So like Magic Kingdom, which is the most popular park, is gonna cost you more money. And then they have a new multi-park option for those of you who hop. Again, I have that in a whole other video. But the price here is gonna be roughly $15 to $35 plus tax per person per park day that you wanna use this system known as Genie Plus. The next thing is, okay, so when do I get my first ride for this Genie Plus? Like I said, Genie Plus is the way to skip the line. So what you do have to do, and I will explain further, is you do have to go on your app and you have to get what I call a pass to skip the line using Genie Plus. So if you've watched any of my other videos, I often talk about scanning twice and pass a ride. I use these terms all the time. I'm talking about Genie Plus because in the Genie Plus function, again, we'll get to it, you go on the app and you pass a ride. You basically get a return time for the specific ride. And then when you're ready to get that pass or get that return time and use it, right, you scan in, usually with your Magic Band. They usually make you scan in twice and you're thus redeeming your pass. And then I talk about getting a new pass. That's getting back on the system here and getting another pass. So when I keep talking about pass it, I'm talking about Genie Plus. And when I say scan in 2 times, I'm talking about Genie Plus via your Magic Band. So hopefully if you've seen a few of my other videos, my itinerary videos, my Learn the Park Map videos, that is what I am talking about. But that is Genie Plus in a nutshell. Again, we're gonna get to more of it further down the line here in this video. Next thing up is Lightning Lane. So Lightning Lane is just the physical lane you actually enter when you want to skip the line. It actually says above the ride, Lightning Lane. That is the lane you go into if you have that pass, right? If you don't have a pass, you have to go in what's called the standby lane. That's when you actually wait in line, sometimes a really long line. Lightning Lane is only for people who have a skip the line pass. Hopefully this makes sense. When I am at the theme parks, I cannot tell you how many people get in the Lightning Lane line, and the cast members up there like, okay, where's your pass? Where's your return time? And the people act so confused. What are you talking about? They got in the wrong lane. Don't do that, guys. You don't want to waste precious time getting in the wrong line. If you have a Genie Plus pass, or I'm going to talk about it next, an individual Lightning Lane pass, you want to use the Lightning Lane. It's the physical lane. If you don't have any form of passes, any form of skip the line, anything, yeah, you're in standby, just so you guys know. Next term up here is called Genie or Disney Genie. Now, this is a system you really don't need to worry about it. I don't bother what's known as the Genie ever. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It doesn't really do anything, so I say forget it. But if you hear about it, just know there is a difference between Genie and Genie Plus. Genie Plus is what you pay for to skip the line. Disney Genie is just some system in the app that don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. I talk about it in my other videos. It's just put it behind you. But yes, that is the difference if you happen to see or hear about it. Disney Genie is a free system that's a pain in the butt. Genie Plus is something you pay for, so you skip the line. That brings us to individual Lightning Lane. Now, individual Lightning Lane, do not confuse it with Lightning Lane. Yes, Disney got pretty creative here with their terms, right? Yeah, Genie and Genie Plus, Lightning Lane and individual Lightning Lane. Okay, Lightning Lane is the physical line, right? Individual Lightning Lane is actually another pass that you pay for so you can skip the line. Are you confused? Yes, I can see how you would be. So there's 2 ways to skip the line. There's purchasing Genie Plus, which works for the majority of the rides. And then there's something called individual Lightning Lane. Again, Disney getting so creative. So what is it and why, right? So like I said, it's another way to skip the line, but you're only able to use it on the top 1 or 2 popular rides at each of the parks, right? Rise of the Resistance, Flights of Passage, Seven Dwarf Mine Train, Tron, Guardians of the Galaxy. Hopefully I didn't forget one, but we will talk about it more throughout this video. But those are just the top rides at each park. You would pay specifically to ride that one ride. So as Genie Plus covers a lot of rides, purchasing one Lightning Lane would cover one ride. Hopefully you guys are kind of with me here. How do you get it? Well, you get it at 7 a.m. if you're a Disney resort guest, and that's your perk here if you're staying on property. Because if you're staying off property, sadly, you don't get to secure an individual Lightning Lane till park open. So if you're with me so far, you get Genie Plus at 7 a.m. I think I said it. You can get individual Lightning Lane at 7 a.m. if you're a Disney resort guest, hence the purpose of this video. So what's the price of individual Lightning Lane? Well, just like Genie Plus, it changes, it fluctuates, it depends on the ride, the day, the crowds, popularity, whatever. Each ride is a set price and it changes, and it can be anywhere between $9. I've seen it go up to $30 per person plus tax for that one ride. But yeah, I mean, are you willing to spend $30 to skip a 3-hour line? it just might be worth it to you, right? Next thing here is a big rule regarding individual lightning lane. You can only purchase up to 2 in a single day per person. What that means is if you are a hopper and you plan on hopping to all the parks, you cannot purchase the individual lightning lanes at each of the 4 parks and do them all in a single day. You can only select up to 2. So currently Magic Kingdom has 2 individual lightning lanes in their 1 park. So you can purchase both of those and you're set for the day. Or if you're hopping, you can purchase 1 at Magic Kingdom and 1 for Epcot, then you're set for the day. Basically, you can't purchase more than 2, 1 per ride each time. You can't purchase 2 for the same ride per person on a single day. Hopefully you guys were with me. That brings us to our final term here, and that is virtual queue, AKA boarding group. Now this is the ability to get into line, not to skip the line, but to enter a line. And this is used for rides that don't have a standby lane. Standby lane is you're just waiting for the ride. You could wait 20 minutes, you could wait 3 hours, you just got in line, you didn't have to pay extra for it. That's waiting in line, that's called the standby line. Or you could purchase something and that's called Genie Plus or individual lightning lane. Or for 2 rides right now, again, this can change. Virtual queues like to change. They often happen for the newest ride at the theme parks. Right now it works for 2 rides. This is not you skipping the line. If you get into the virtual queue, if you get into a boarding group, you're not skipping any line. You're just getting in a line. It's basically saying, okay, you've got a reservation to enter the line at this time, if that makes sense. I have a lot of people who think that they got a virtual queue. Yay! Yes, you should be excited. But then they think that means they skipped the line. No, you could be getting a virtual queue and still have to wait 3 hours, ride depending. But let's get further down the road. So under my bullet points here, yes, this is not a skip the line thing. If you want to skip the line, you want to do individual lightning lane. And this is first come, first serve. It goes fast. It happens first thing in the morning. We're going to talk about it. You got to have your fast little fingers here. Like I said, it works for 2 rides right now. That's Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot and Tron at Magic Kingdom. Once Disney puts out a new ride, for example, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I suspect that might enter a virtual queue as well. But currently there's 2. Come holiday season, sometimes they enter meeting Santa Claus, which would make that 3 virtual queues, but they always work the same way. So knowing how to do one is kind of like knowing how to do them all, right? So there's 2 time options to secure a virtual queue or a boarding group. Now, can you guess what the first time is? 7 a.m. Are you guys with me? What was Disney thinking? Genie Plus, 7 a.m. Individual lightning lane, 7 a.m. Virtual queue, 7 a.m. So yeah, the first time that you can secure a virtual queue is at 7 a.m. And no, you don't have to be at the theme park. You can be in your resort. You can be at your house, wherever you are in the Orlando area. You can be in your PJs, snuggled in bed if you want to. The second time for it is 1 p.m. Now, once the 1 p.m. boarding group or virtual queue is up and open, you have to physically be in the park to attempt to get that one. So hopefully that makes sense. So at 7 a.m. you can be at your resort, you can be eating breakfast, you could still be in bed. Once the 7 o'clock time slot opens, you gotta be physically in that park. So you have 2 chances to secure a virtual queue per each of those rides. And for those of you who are putting 2 and 2 together, yeah, it doesn't really work for hoppers. You cannot hop right now till 2 p.m. There's a reason for that. They don't want people going to a park and then hop into, say, Magic Kingdom to try to get all the Tron boarding groups. So hopping starts at 2. Usually by 1 o'clock, all those boarding groups are gone. Therefore, hoppers don't really get a chance to get a virtual queue. So if you're hopping, you want to make sure you go to that park you want that virtual queue for first. That's the park you want to get your park pass reservation for. And I keep using the term boarding group. So it's kind of the same thing. Entering into the virtual queue is virtually waiting in line in a virtual queue, right? But what they do is when you get into the virtual queue, they give you a boarding group number. You could be boarding group number 1 or 20 or 90. It doesn't, it just keeps changing. Basically, every few minutes, they're gonna call a different boarding group. All of a sudden, they're calling boarding groups 15 to 19, and then they're gonna call boarding groups 25 to 31. So whenever your boarding group number is called, that's when you can physically get into line. Up until that point, you're virtually in a line. Once they call your boarding group number, you actually go into the line. Again, you're still waiting in line. You're not skipping any line. You're just actually getting in line. So getting a boarding group number, getting a virtual queue is kind of the same thing. And like I said, it's currently working for those 2 rides. More can be added, some can be removed. Keeps happening and changing, but this is the system no matter what the ride is. So, you guys ready? So I gave you the definitions. I kind of explained what all these things are. So now you ready for your 7 a.m. step-by-step guide on what you should do. Ready? So, first thing to know is it all happens on the app. If you don't already, you need to get it. The My Disney Experience app on your phone, because this is all happening, like I said, 7 a.m. on your phone. So we're gonna start Genie Plus. Like I said, you wanna secure that between midnight and 7 a.m. In fact, you wanna get it before 7 a.m. because if you haven't noticed, you get your Genie Plus passes at 7 a.m., you get your individual lightning lanes at 7 a.m., and you get your virtual queues at 7 a.m. So which one do you do first? You definitely want to get the purchasing of Genie Plus out of the way and do that way before 7 a.m. So with Genie Plus, you have 2 things you have to do. First, you have to purchase it. Then you have to secure your first ride. You definitely want to purchase Genie Plus for anyone with a park ticket. That is guest ages 3 and up. You want to purchase it for anyone in your party who has a ticket and wants to skip the line. If grandma's just going, she doesn't want to ride anything, she just wants to wave to everyone and get pictures with Mickey, grandma probably doesn't need a Genie Plus, but there's plenty of rides grandma could actually do, so you may want to think about it. Basically, if one person in your party has Genie Plus, it's just convenient to have everyone in your party with Genie Plus, but only each individual person with the Genie Plus can actually skip the line. It's not you purchase it for the group and everyone skips. It's per person. Hopefully you guys got that. Like I said, you're going to purchase it before 7 a.m. and you need to decide when you purchase it which park you're purchasing it for. Are you going to Magic Kingdom? You're going to Epcot, blah, blah, blah. You do need to select that park. Or if you have a hopper and you plan on hopping, you need to purchase that multi-park ticket. Before 7 a.m., you've already purchased Genie Plus, and now it's time for you to get your first Genie Plus pass ride, your pass for the ride, right? You need to purchase your individual lightning lane if that's something you want to do. And you have to get that virtual queue if you're going to Epcot or Magic Kingdom. So which one do you do first? I mean, it's like a nail biter, right? Like, what do I do? What do I do? To be honest, it's really ride and park depending. So it's not really a simple answer. You must always do this first. So I kind of came up with a game plan based on what it looks like today, right now. Obviously, if your family is interested in different things, then you want to cater these plans to you, to your interests. Make sure you check out my itinerary videos because I have 2 videos per park, one for the general family or people who are interested in the majority of the things, and then I have one dedicated to families with just little kids. Depending on what your interests are, might change what you want to pass first and what you want to do, right? Okay, so I broke it down to all 4 parks. You ready? First one, Magic Kingdom. Now this is what you're dealing with at Magic Kingdom. Your individual lightning lanes here are Tron and 7 Dwarf Mine Train. Your virtual queue here is Tron. Yeah, you heard me. Tron is an individual lightning lane and a virtual queue. In fact, you can purchase the individual lightning lane. You can get a virtual queue, which would allow you to what? Ride Tron twice in a single day. Yes, you can absolutely do that. Remember, individual lightning lane is skipping the line. Virtual queue, you're not skipping anything. You're just in a virtual line. So, what do you do first at Magic Kingdom? Well, if you're a resort guest, the first thing you want to do is virtual queue. In fact, if you're interested in any of the virtual queues, you always do virtual queue first. You're going to go ahead and get that virtual queue for Tron first. Then you're going to try to secure your individual lightning lane, again for Tron or Seven Dwarf Mine Train or both, right? And then the third thing you're going to want to do is secure your first Genie Plus pass. Now, considering current wait times and availability, this is what you want to go for. You want to think about Jungle Cruise as your first pass, Peter Pan, or Space Mountain. Those are what's going fast right now for Genie Plus passes. Now, if you're an off-property guest, for you, the first thing you're going to want to do is virtual queue Tron. Try really, really hard to get that virtual queue. You can't get your individual lightning lane till park opens, so you're going to skip that part. You're going to go straight to getting that Genie Plus. So virtual queue, Genie Plus, again, the same Genie Plus as I mentioned above. Make sense? Hopefully this is helping you guys. Next one up is Epcot. Epcot is individual lightning lane and virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. So yes, just like Tron, you can purchase the individual lightning lane, you can secure a virtual queue, and technically ride Guardians of the Galaxy twice in a single day. Again, individual lightning lane is skipping the line. Virtual queue, yep, you're just virtually in line. But if you are a Disney Resort guest, yep, you want to try to secure that virtual queue first. And if for some reason it doesn't work, or you would rather use the skip the line method, then you would go straight to getting that individual lightning lane. Again, both for Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, based on current wait times right now, your goal for that first Genie Plus pass are Remy, Test Track, Frozen Ever After, and then maybe Soarin'. Again, interests depending. If you are an off-property guest, again, you want to get that virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy. That's your only option because, again, you can't get individual lightning lane till the park opens. And then, of course, your Genie Plus, the rides I mentioned a second ago. Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios is a little bit easier. Why? There's no virtual queue. The individual lightning lane here is Rise of the Resistance. So it's 7 a.m. What do you do for Hollywood Studios? Well, this can actually be tricky. It's tricky to the point where I have a whole video on it. But resort guests, the first thing you want to do is your individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance. Then, again, no virtual queue. The next thing you'll get is your Genie Plus pass. Based on current wait times, right now we got Slinky Dog. Then you want to go for Falcon, the Millennium Falcon, Tower of Terror, and then Mick and Min's Runaway Railway. Now, this is what makes Hollywood tricky. Sometimes Slinky can go before Rise of the Resistance, of course, day and season depending, which means you want to get and look at the app before you go, before you do this, and see what's going to go first for you. Is Rise of the Resistance booking up first? Or is Slinky Dog booking up first? So right now I'm telling you to do individual lightning lane first, which is Rise of the Resistance, then get Slinky. When you go, you might need to get Slinky first, then purchase your Rise of the Resistance. So you do have to do a little bit of homework here when it comes to Hollywood Studios. If you're off property, you can't get an individual lightning lane. So yeah, for you, Genie Plus, Slinky, just go straight to Slinky, guys, if you're staying off property. Last one, of course, is Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom's individual lightning lane is Flight of Passage, Avatar Flight of Passage. Again, no virtual queue, so it makes it a little bit easier for you guys. Resort guests, yeah, the first thing you're going to want to do is purchase that individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage. Next will be your Genie Plus selections. Again, current times. First thing is Navi River Journey. This shocks the holy heck out of me. Navi River Journey is like a little nothing of a boat ride, But man, those wait times are long, and these Genie Plus passes go fast. So yeah, right now, first thing you want to do is Navi River Journey, and then will be Kilimanjaro Safaris. I love that ride. Then Cali River Rapids, and then if you need to go further, Dinosaur and Expedition Everest. It was really shocking to me that Cali River Rapids was going faster than Dinosaur and the coaster. It is what it is, guys. And of course, if you're staying off property, you would just jump straight to Genie Plus, which, yeah, Navi River Journey, Safari, Cali River Rapids for you. Now, those are the 4 parks. That's if you're just going to those parks. You're not worrying about hopping. If you are a hopper, it makes it a little trickier for you. You have to decide which park you want a Genie Plus individual lightning lane first, even though you're hopping. So even though your first park of the day might be Epcot, you might want to save all your Genie Plus passes and stack them, which we'll talk about, for Magic Kingdom later in the day. So you really have to think, which rides do I want? Which ones do I go for first? And you kind of have to cater to that. You have to pick the top ride at the parks you're going to, and that's what you want: a virtual queue, individual lightning lane, Genie Plus, and kind of follow the system I just presented per those parks. Hopping does make it a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna lie. But I have a whole bunch of tips and tricks regarding this process to kind of help you out. First thing is, if you can, use multiple phones. Don't let just one person try to tackle virtual queues and individual lightning lanes all at the same time. Are you a husband and wife team? Use 2 phones. Have the husband do one thing and the wife do another. Are you just a couple of grown-ups going? Do you have a parent and a teenager? Pick 2 people in your party, and one person do virtual queue and one person do individual lightning lane, so that way hopefully you score something, because this all goes very fast, especially those virtual queues. Next tip, like I said, virtual queue always goes first, right? 7:01, you're too late, it's gone. The second attempt is at 1 o'clock. Again, you have to physically be in the park. You don't have to be at the ride. You can be anywhere. You have to physically be scanned into the park. That happens at 1 p.m. I feel like less people either attempt at the 1 p.m. or it's easier to get the 1 p.m. The trick here, of course, is Wi-Fi. But yes, virtual queue always goes first, but you do have a second attempt. So if you didn't get the 7 a.m. try again at 1 p.m. You just have to physically be in the park, and you want to kind of scroll around for good Wi-Fi, right? Don't want to be indoors inside a ride and expecting that you have decent Wi-Fi. So here's the tips for this. You do virtual queue in the app. It's actually on the very first page of the app. When you go into the app, there's a little house button in the corner. You press that, you scroll, it actually says virtual queue. You just click. If you just open the app for the first time, it automatically takes you to that screen. You just scroll and click virtual queue. You follow the prompts. It is super duper easy. If you can't find it on the home screen, but you can, it's there, I promise. You can also press the 3 dash lines in the very, very bottom right-hand corner. And there's also a section there for virtual queues. That's how you technically enter or try to get one of those virtual queues again on the app. Like I said, fast fingers wins the game when it comes to virtual queue. So you kind of want to start at like 6:55, and you want to press all the buttons that you can press, and then just wait and wait for 7 o'clock to hit. You refresh and refresh and refresh. And as soon as it says 7, you try to click it and you try to get it. That's really how you do it. You sit there for 5 minutes, refresh. Yeah, you're falling asleep. As soon as your phone says 7, yeah, click it, try to get it. If you wait till 7:01, you're too late. This is fast fingers wins the game. And sadly, again, if you're hopping, you really can't get a virtual queue for your second park, because the virtual queue options here again are 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. You can't hop until 2 p.m. Now, sometimes, very rare, virtual queues aren't gone at 1 a.m. Sometimes they linger a little bit throughout the day during slow season. Again, it's rare. And then it can be a chance that a hopper could be able to get that virtual queue at the hopping park if they're left over at 2 p.m. But again, it's not very common, but I know someone will write in if I say never ever can hoppers get it. Someone's gonna write in, so yeah, I told you. All right, next thing you need to know is all guests with a ticket need a pass for that virtual queue. So anyone who's gonna ride the ride is gonna need to be part of your virtual queue, meaning not just mom gets the virtual queue and she sneaks in a couple of kids. Everyone with a park ticket who wants to ride that ride needs to get that virtual queue. It is one virtual queue per person, and you actually, when you're doing it, you actually get to select the people. So if you have a 3-year-old who's not really gonna ride the ride, I find it easier just to select them and then they just don't ride it. But you do have the option to select certain people to go on the virtual queue out of your group. I find it easier to select all and just deal with the rest later. Now, Genie Plus. Genie Plus's rule is you get to skip the line for that ride 1 time per day. So in other words, if you want to ride Haunted Mansion, you don't get to Genie Plus Haunted Mansion over and over and over again. You get to Genie Plus it once. Ride it once using the skip the line, using the Genie Plus. Then if you want to ride Haunted Mansion again, you can. You absolutely can. You just have to wait in line for it. You have to wait standby. So you can't keep reserving, the same rides. You can't just Genie Plus Big Thunder 10 times in a row and ride Big Thunder 10 times. That's just not how it works. You can do it once per ride per day when using a Genie Plus. Now, to physically get the Genie Plus, right? So I told you how to get the virtual queue. You do it with the home screen. Genie Plus, you do through something called Tip Board. This is part of that Disney Genie I was talking about that you don't have to worry about. There's an area here on the app called Tip Board. When you go into the app, you go to the 3 dash lines in the right-hand corner. You click on it. It's automatically going to pop up a screen. The very top thing in the left-hand corner is Tip Board. That's it. You click it. The rest of it is self-explanatory. There's a section there where you get to change the park. So are you talking about Magic Kingdom? Change it to Magic Kingdom. Are you talking about animal? Change it to animal. Automatically what pops up are all the rides. Filter in to find the ride that you want a Genie Plus and press it. This is the same way you would do individual lightning lane. Scroll through, find the ride you want an individual lightning lane, again, press it. It all happens through Tip Board. Tip Board is also great to see return times, right, per your Genie Plus or individual lightning lane. It's also a great way to see the current waits. Now, current waits sometimes are off a little bit, but it generally gives you an idea of what each ride's wait times will be. You can also use Tip Board to mobile order. Yes, there's a section there where you can press it where it says dining, and it will show you a list of restaurants that you can either A, mobile order, or get a last minute dining reservation. So amazing. Actually, Tip Board is amazing. Love it. So for Tip Board, it's your life when you're at Disney. You want to learn it, love it, use it. That's Tip Board. Again, 3 dash lines in the right-hand corner. Click it. Tip Board's in the upper left. It's going to be your lifeline when you're at the theme parks. Next tip here is Genie Plus again. So how do you do Genie Plus? Well, there are 2 ways to plan your attack regarding Genie Plus. Now, this is what I have other videos to thoroughly describe it, but just to give you a little taste here, because my video is getting a little long. This first one I like to call Pass Ride, Pass Ride. This is when you at 7 a.m., you get a pass for a ride. You enter the theme park, you ride that ride. You scan in your 2 times. Once you've scanned in those 2 times, you can get another pass for another ride. When that ride comes up, you get in line, you scan it twice, you pass again to ride another ride. That's why I call it Pass Ride, Pass Ride. You're getting a pass, you ride it, you get another pass, you ride it. You can get as many passes as you want as long as they're still available. The second way to do Genie Plus is something called stacking. This is when you stack passes to ride later on in the day. So 7 a.m. you get your first pass, but you keep waiting until the passes are for later on in the day, because the passes are first come availability. So you might not want the Peter Pan 9 a.m. return pass time, because you might not be in the park till 2. So you want to keep refreshing and refreshing until the ride you want's return time is a time that you want. So starting at 7 a.m., you would refresh until you can get the ride at the time you want to ride later. 2 hours after park opening, you do it again. You get back on the app and you get another pass for a different ride to ride later on in the day, and you keep doing that every 2 hours. Come 5, 6 o'clock, you could have several rides in your like Genie Plus piggy bank that you can ride later on in the day. Why would you want to do this? Well, perhaps you're busy in the morning. Perhaps you wanted to have a light pool day, or perhaps you want to, use the lower wait times that traditionally happen first thing in the morning, and you want to save your passes for later on in the day when the parks get busier. Either way, those are the two ways to do Genie Plus. Again, you want more info? Check out my other videos. And speaking of that, yeah, make sure you watch my other videos. I have park itinerary videos on all 4 parks. I already talked about it. I have an app tutorial video that teaches you the ins and outs of the app. This is key when you're on vacation, is to know this app. I have Learn the Park Map videos where I take you ride by ride, restaurant by restaurant of exactly what's in the park. And I have various other, like I said, Genie Plus videos, update videos, changes videos, so many videos. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Hopefully you liked this video. Sorry if it got a little bit long here, but yes, this is my kind of breakdown of Genie Plus, individual lightning, and virtual queue. Basically all the things you need to know and think about for 7 a.m. because I'm telling you right now, if you don't know what you're doing come 7 a.m., that can be stressful. If you don't know about a virtual queue and you get to the park and you're trying to ride Tron and they're like, you should have done a virtual queue, and you're like, what's a virtual queue? I'm trying to help you by telling you about it now. So come up with your game plan so you know exactly what you want to do at 7 a.m. Have a partner in crime, right, to help you with it. Get on this. You can get on the same account. Just one person does virtual queue and one person does Genie Plus, or whatever your situation is. Not all parks, all families, all day will you be doing a virtual queue, an individual lightning lane, and a Genie Plus, but some of you may. And that's what I'm hoping helps per this video. But anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications. Like this video and comment. Did you like this video? Did you find it helpful, or was it too much crazy information in one video? Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, please share and share and share my content. The more views I have, the more ability I have to make more videos for you all. So as always, guys, mahalo for watching. Nina out.